makes food for the soul. She's written 2 books, Dashing Dish and Devotionals for a Healthier You. Katie is passionate about helping women find joy in the daily life, physically and spiritually, and developing good habits. Well, Katie, welcome to Real Life 360. We're so glad you're with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
What are we going to be making today?
Well, this is a layered Cobb chicken salad, and my favorite thing about this particular salad is this is to go. So I think a problem that most people struggle with when it comes to eating healthy is really quick and easy meals that you can take to go or prepare in advance and take with you on the go.
Right.
So what I like to do is put all of my toppings in a mason jar, and this just keeps it fresh in your fridge. You can actually make all this even a week ahead of time, keep it fresh in your fridge, but just don't put it on the lettuce because that's what causes it to kind of wilt.
Okay.
And so what I like to do when I'm layering my salads is I like to start with some of the more firm ingredients at the bottom of the jar. I like to do, these are red onions, but you could skip them if you don't like red onions. And you can get a smaller mason jar, whatever works for you. And then these are red peppers, and they're just some diced red peppers, and we missed one in there. And so you could, of course, do any vegetables that you like. You don't even have to do, you know, any of these that I'm mentioning.
Katie, color is good in any sort of a recipe, right? I see the reds, I see greens.
That's right. The more color that the food has, you know that it was made by God and that it's good for our bodies and nutritious.
Right.
I always like to say, eat the rainbow, eat a variety of colors that you have here, and that God has given us so many amazing, wonderful foods that truly nourish our bodies. And so you'll notice that I'm putting the softer foods on the top as we get towards the top.
Okay, now what is that? Is that a cheese?
This is a feta cheese,
Okay.
and so this is a little bit healthier for you than, say, a shredded cheese like cheddar. And then this is avocado, and this avocado is a good fat. It's a good healthy fat. I think, you know, about probably 10 years ago, people thought that fat was not a good thing to eat, and now we're learning that there are good and healthy fats in moderation that are good for us. And then if you wanted to kind of spice it up, you could do a little crumbled bacon. You could even do center cut bacon. That's a little bit healthier. And so here we have all of our toppings in the jar. And so what you could do is you could bring this just as is. You could even put a little dressing in it, and you can put some of your lettuce right on top in the jar and kind of pack it in.
Okay.
Yeah. Right before you leave to, say, go to work. Or you could bring your lettuce in a jar, in a Tupperware just like this. Just leave your toppings right in the jar, and then when you get to work, kind of pour them over
So,
the
and
top
that's
of the
because
lettuce.
the lettuce breaks down. Is that what
Right.
you were saying?
It gets kind of watery or soggy
Yeah,
if you
that's
leave
happened
it
to
too
me.
long.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
just
this
keep it
allows you to
separate.
make it ahead of time. And then we have some chicken too. So you could make this vegetarian if you wanted to, or you could add some good protein, some chicken to it, or some fish.
What are your favorite dressings? Do you have any? Like,
I love
make your
just
own?
making my own with a little balsamic vinegar, a little olive oil, and some lemon juice. Maybe some honey if you like it a little sweeter. And that's a really good basic dressing recipe you can put on any salad.
Katie, it seems like almost by the day it changes, the code for that pyramid, the food pyramid, that, you know, eggs are good and then they're bad and now they're good again. But it seems like lately, the last couple of years, you talked about the healthy fats. About that's actually an important component to a diet because it keeps you from getting hungry for the refined sugars.
It's true. And it really helps curb those cravings as well. We're finding that if you eat a good balance of some healthy fat, some good lean protein, and whole grains, when you have that good balance, it keeps you away from those cravings of wanting something else like sugar or something processed.
I'm just wondering how you, like, you're young, but I know you said you came through something when you were younger. How did you evolve to this? Like, what's the nuts and bolts?
Well, really, it started when I was about 14 years old. I had an eating disorder, and all through my teen years, I went through a lot of different disordered eating. And, you know, it wasn't until I started to really get in the kitchen and start to learn how to cook healthy and learn how to nourish my body God's way with the right balance of foods that I started to realize that our bodies can be amazing, work so efficiently if we put the right things in them. And so really that was a big step of my healing, and the healing process that God did in me was learning how to cook.
That's amazing.
I heard something on television a couple of weeks ago. They were talking about that when they tested rats, that sugar was 5 times more addictive than heroin.
Wow.
That's a pretty profound statement, but I think we really are a nation and even a culture, our world is addicted to sugar and those refined processed foods.
That's very true. The number one thing that I tell people, if you could start anywhere, just start by cutting out the sugar and the white flour, anything that's processed, but cut out the white stuff. You know, the white flour, the white sugar, the white pasta even. There are so many alternatives. My favorite one is just a natural sweetener such as honey or stevia. That's just a stevia leaf that they make a sweetener out of. Or with replacing white flour, you could do oat flour. So I just take old-fashioned oatmeal, grind it up in my blender, and form a flour out of it.
That's awesome. Well, do we have something sweet you're going to show us how to make?
We do.
That
And
would
this
be
is a great
awesome.
recipe for summertime. I personally love it because it's no bake. It takes a few simple ingredients, and you can serve it with delicious fruit in the summertime. So in this bowl here, we have Greek yogurt, which is a great yogurt because it's high in protein. And you want to get the plain Greek yogurt, not
Okay,
sweetened.
Nothing with sugar in it.
That's right,
Yeah.
because we can sweeten it ourselves that
Okay.
way. So, and there's some Greek yogurt cream cheese. So there are so many new things at the grocery store. This is just at a general local grocery store that you can find this.
Okay.
And so I mix these together here, and this forms just a nice creamy dip, as you can see. And then we have some honey here, so you can just really add sweetener to your personal preference. So we'll do about a tablespoon there, but you could add more or less if you desire.
She's a true cook. She doesn't need to measure. I'm like, what's the science book say? How much?
Just a dash, right?
That's true. When it comes to sweetener, though, that's something that really you can do to your personal taste. This here is stevia. So stevia is made with some stevia leaves, and it's all natural sweetener. So it's different from Splenda. A lot of times people get those confused, but Splenda is actually really a chemical base. This is vanilla extract, and you can just do a teaspoon of this. And when we add these all together and mix it up, it is just like a cream cheese dip or filling in a delicious pie or cake. But it's just really something to dip fruit in. So we'll add the
Has a
vanilla
nice
extract.
fragrance to it.
It smells wonderful.
And then just a little dash of lemon juice, and this is something that you'd put maybe in a cheesecake, and that helps to bring all the flavors together.
Your husband said that no matter what you make it taste really good. 'Cause he doesn't like vegetables and stuff. He's like, but she will make them taste good.
It's true. I always say my husband eats like a picky 2-year-old, and so if he likes it, then I know that any kid would like it, and so it's family approved. So that's how I know it's good to go on my website. And then you just put the dip right here in a little bowl or a serving dish, and then you can serve it with some fruit.
Well, that sounds
Sounds
awesome. We're going
delicious.
to need to take a bite of this, but thank you so much for showing us how to cook.
Thank you so
That's
much
awesome.
for having me here.
In just a few moments, we're going to be discussing the God moments from today's real life program and pray for your prayer requests. We'll be right back.